Now then, chaps and chapasses, so as I've got no videos on YouTube, I figured I might as well explain what the live feed is for on the Strat Scanner and a few things about it. So if you look in my, wherever it is on YouTube, on my live videos, you will see I'm broadcasting constantly the scanner that I have made. So I'm going to let you into the ins and outs of what's happening behind the scenes and try and explain the scanner interface, where it came from. So this is not going to be a short video, and how it all links together and how I've done it. So first and foremost, the scanner, it scans the crypto markets for the, I've got the top 20 by volume up there at the moment. It scans, it's the Binance USDT perp futures that it's trading on, because it trades short and long. It's not just a scanner, it does a lot more. So, and it uses created by Rob. I'll put some links to the videos below. I'm not here to teach the strat or anything like that. I am a terrible teacher. I have zero patience. I cannot stand to tell people things twice. There are plenty of other people who can teach you about it, so to understand the numbers and stuff. Sarah is a good one, Strat Sniper. And also Cyberdog as well, who's been great. He's been really good with responding and helping me, he doesn't realise it, but helping me get my head around how the software should work. If you're new to it, perhaps don't watch Rob's stuff, because he will go at 1,000,000 miles an hour for someone new. Nowadays, I look at it and go, yeah, I got that. In fact, I don't even need a chart up in front of me. It runs through how his trades are playing out, what he sees in the market. So, yeah, so don't be put off with the speed of it. Once you do get up to speed, fine. It's really easy to understand. So, like I say, I'm not here to explain that. The scanner itself, what does it do? Okay, I'm working off time frame content. Again, look at these people's YouTube things. It's working off time frame continuity. For me, I'm looking at it out of the corner of my eye. Just that it's trading on the 1 hour and the 30 minutes. So it is taking into account the 30, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily as its time frame continuity. There is more than this though, because I'm going to build a hive mind, because there is different time frames. So if some trade chart software website somewhere that was saying, you know, if you're an intraday trader, then you want to be looking at the 15:30, the hourly, and the 4 hourly, or something like that. Anything up to the daily. Or if you're a swing trader, you want to be looking at this. So it's kind of like chunks. If you think of it as people sat in a room staring at a 60-minute chart, you want to know what they're doing. And then there's another room full of people staring at a 30-minute chart. You want to know what they're doing. Well, when everyone's doing the same thing, then the price is going to go the same way, basically. So what I've then come to realise is there's actually, time frames, but independently. So if you had, and it has worked this morning, it has been fine, I've been churning away quite a bit of profit, I've done 10% on quite a few things, which is, there will be one trading engine which is running off the lower time frames, which is why I've got, well, I'll get into the scanner in a second, why I've got so many time frames off there. So it'll run off the 15 minute, it'll pick up reversals on the 15 minute. Well, if you stretch your time frame continuity and you look, and this is where Cyberdog came in. So when we were talking about Bitcoin, he said in one of his tweets something about get back to me when it reaches 65k. Well, he's looking at the quarterly. So that's okay for swing trading, and yes, if you look at the quarterly, then if everything up to the quarterly has gone green, then yeah, it's going north. But what happens when it goes below? It's in conflict, but then it reverses up. How do you catch those reversals at the bottom? Well, if you're a swing trader, you're not going to catch the reversals. If you're because it's it's out to continuity at the bottom. But if you're an intraday trader and you're trading off the 5 and the 15 minute, you are, because you're not going to see that we're below on the weekly. You're only concentrating on those. So if you had two minds, one mind looking at the 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 15, 30, 1 hour, and another mind looking at the 31 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, then if the larger time frame is the lower one is showing a reversal, then yeah, bang, you're into the lower trade. And if that one then hands over to the other one to say, I've got a trade that's ongoing, do you want to take this and adapt yourself? So it worked for me. So on the lower time frames, I use a lower stop loss, so the stop loss on the smaller, whereas on the higher time frames it's 0.5%. So when it does hand over, the stop loss gets slackened off slightly, and it works really well. So as far as the scanner goes, back to the scanner a second, like 1 minute, 15 minutes, 30. What you see in there is, if means that the system has looked at that, and I'm looking at this one here, I know you can't see it, so SNX USDT, that is in conflict, it's white, it's downside, it's red, 2 up, 1, 2 up, failed, going 2 down, so that's a 2-1-2, but it's actually failed, it's going back through the range again. So the money bag is to say that it has seen a signal. It is not to say that the thing altogether. Again, go look at the videos. So moving along, obviously price is price. Inside trade data, sometimes you'll see a signal being sent out, and sometimes you'll see one's just flashed up on my screen now and on my trade engine. So I've got a 2-1-2 on XRP going down. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, 2-1-2 going down. Sometimes it's blank, it just means it can't see anything. And sometimes it will say sig kill. If it says sig kill, it's killing any signals coming from the scanner in the first place, and that is when it's on an inside day. So it's different in the fact that if it's on an inside day, the first part of the engine is going to be so it's going to have to change. Continuity. When people are looking at the continuity, it says downside or upside. That's fair enough. If you are seeing ones and zeros, that's what it is seeing, and that's a good visualization. And it will be when you've got all of the time frames up all of the time, which is you've got 0 is down, 1 is up. It's quite simple, but you can then feed that into a register and work out what your time frame continuity is. So if I'm looking at it now, I can see 1 0 0 0 1 1. I know that that's really choppy, but if you've got if everything's going up and then it starts to go down and again, and it's in conflict, you'll get like 0 1 1 1 1 1 because it's going up on all the other time frames and down on the 1 minute, and then when that 1 minute goes into the 5 minute, then there's 2 zeros, and you can see it coming through like a wave. So you don't need to keep your eyes on the chart, you don't need to look at anything else, you don't need to know whether it's in conflict or not, because when you look at that, even if I took the upside and the downside out, you can see it as a wave in those binary ones and zeros. You can see it as a wave coming through, or you can see it as a chunk. So when the trading engines are working together, you'll have the first engine, the reaction engine right at the bottom, will be working off the lower time frames, and that will just take a mask of like 1 1 1 1. Hence why there's loads of binary on here. And the upper trade engine will be interested in the upper bits. So that's the scanning engine. It will categorize the candles, as you can see in there. Sometimes, just to explain, if you've got something like on TRX, which I've got at the moment, is a 2 down, 2 up, 2 up, and these last 2 because it went down, up, but it's failing and coming back down on that candle, so it's a bad one basically. So yeah, coding wise, so guys, yes, a few people have asked me, The scanner is is made by using Python Rich for its interface. It is primarily there so I can see what it can see and what it's thinking all the time. I don't take manual trades if I can. Sometimes I get a little bit overexcited. I might have put a bit on AXS this morning as it went up, and it's still going up. But generally I don't bother. I just leave it to it. So it's there so I can visualize what it can see. I also have some other engines on there which it hands over to, which I'll talk about now. So first and foremost, those that are doing it, Python I'm using, MySQL I'm using. I am not doing anything in the memory of the system. I first of all have one component. It's all split off into separate components just in case anything else out as well. So I've got a harvester. That harvester clients, that is working on a WebSocket on Python, and it pushes in, it checks to see if there's a client in the database. If there is, it updates it. If it's not, it creates a new client, and it goes through and churns them out a couple of million a week or something, and certainly over 4 million calculations a day that's going through it. Someone was saying yesterday, sorry I forgot, I don't know if it was Ryan or not, about using a database rather than using an in-memory process. Well, bearing in mind what I'm about to tell you about everything that it goes through, from the signal being seen on there and flashing up as a 2 down XRP on the hour, wow, everything's red, from when a signal appears on there to me seeing it in my Binance account, it will be less than a second. So bearing in mind everything that's going on, I don't really mind that it's in the database. And also, the other thing is, I'm saving the signals and the state of the market for that asset at that point in time when the signal goes in. So what I can do is I can then run theories. At the moment, it's very safe. It uses a 0.5% stop loss, the trading engine does. And then when it gets up to 0.5% in profit, it puts the stop at 0.01% just above the entry, so it's safe. Because let's remember, this is software and not humans, so I'm not sat there watching it. And then it does a trailing stop after 1%. So, so I've completely forgot what I was about to say. So that's the scanner that works in the background. So it's all it's doing is it's taking the clients out of the database, so it's all the time, millions and millions of transactions a minute. The harvester, as I say, that's coming into the database. Sorry, that's what I was going to say about filling up the database. But it does mean that I can, if I want to adjust the CP1s, which is, I'm making it really safe at the moment, so the next thing will be to have a look at how Sarah does her magnitude targets and how Cyberdog adds and extends and comes out of trades on reversals. So I can simulate that without having to backfill data constantly from Binance, which is fine. So that's the harvester, that's a scanner. They're working, like I say, separate things. I then have the trading engine. It's really, really simple. It just constantly polls every second for, as I say, you're going to get 20 more because it's looking at 2 time frames. At the most, if everything lit up like a Christmas tree, there's going to be 40 signals on there. So 40, and it takes every signal as a separate position. So if you get a signal on the 30-minute and the 1 hour, it'll put 2 positions. So what happens? Yeah, so basically it goes in and it puts a position on. So when you're looking, one of the things to think about, when you're harvesting the clients is, in case you do need something to check to make sure that you've got the client saved, because if you have a moment of downtime for, say, 4 minutes, it's off and the WebSocket is quiet, you need to backfill that. So just think about that. As far as the trading engine goes, when it's doing its trades, So it puts on a trade at the moment. I'm just going in at market. I'm not going in at market stop. I'm not going on limits, because yes, that's fine, but is it going to get? I just want it in. Just get it in. So goes on as a market order. The system then, because I've got a user data socket on the Overwatch engine, it comes in on a user data socket that an order has gone in on the account, and then I can pull that order because I've got the internal ID of it, and then I find out what the average fill price was for that order, because let's not forget, it goes in at multiple orders. It depends who it's going on. Obviously, the more that you're using, the more orders that you're having to satisfy. So it gives you an average fill price. I then save the average fill price against my order in the database. So I've got the stop, I've got the TP1, the TP2, I've got the actual average fill price. So then I can look at and data mine what's the difference between the market and what I'm saying is the entry. And also as well, think about when you're doing stuff and you're signaling, especially with the strat, if you see a signal on the hourly, but we're 45 minutes into the hour. There was a signal that came yesterday. It made my nipples stand on end. It looked really, really good, but it was 45 minutes from the end, and no word of a lie, it just shot past. It got about 0.5%, and then it just backed out. And you're onto a new candle, so you have to be careful, be aware of that. Be aware of, as well, if you're picking things out of the database. I came across this was terrible. That you're only picking your signals out for the past couple of minutes. If you have a hiccup at any point in time, which I did, it was an issue that I came across. The trading engine went offline. It wasn't taking the signals on board, and then when it started back up, it took all the signals from the past 3 hours and put everything on. Well, 3 hours ago the market was in a decline, and it shorted everything. I was in an incline, so I quickly had to go and manually just delete everything off. So just one to think about. So on, then like I say, that one you put the trade on, you find out what your average fill price is, and then you go from your average fill price and put whatever stops, whatever you're doing. You don't have to do what I'm doing. It's just my methodology, my working. You put your stops on. So I put a stop behind, so it doesn't go too far. Like I said, I'm working on 0.5% sometimes. And then whatever take profit targets you want, if you want take profit targets. Now, I've put take profit targets in there for the simple reason that we are talking about software. We are not talking about someone sat in front of a chart watching a trade play out and deciding when it's going to reverse. If the software, if your system goes down when you're trading, and it's, say you're running a stop loss engine and it gets stopped out on your system, but your system tries to talk to Binance to put the stop order in to make that sell, if there's a break there, or if Binance, then it's not going to place that, and it's going to run south on you and either, lose a bit of money or put you into a loss. You defensively code when you're doing this. It would be my suggestion. So when you're going to do stuff like that, I put one behind it, that's fine. I also put one in front of it just in case. So I put one at 5%, and then, which is above the 1%. So when it gets to the 1% of the trailing stop loss, you know that you've got something at like 5% up there. When it gets up to 5%, you can take it off, that's fine. And put so you're at 5%, you've got one at 1% just in case. And then if you're, if you get to 6%, 7% profit, and the engines go offline for any reason whatsoever, and it starts to take a dive south, then you're going to hit, 1 or 2% profit. But obviously, if it does work out right and your engine's fine, then it'll cancel the trade within a few minutes. Once it's cancelled, market sell, personally, is my opinion. Because again, it's software, you're not going to be sat there wondering whether your limit order's gone through or not. Market sell, get rid of everything, fill or kill, and pick up the average fill price for that so you can then report on it for you to figure out how much you've got. So that's a trade. The trading engine literally puts the trade on, puts a stop loss on, and then puts a take profit in. The Overwatch engine, again another part of it, the Overwatch engine manages the streams to the Binance API, so I can see that my perp data stream, how much data is coming down it, my account data stream. It monitors those, and it monitors the mark price of all of the pairs. Now, yes, I'm getting the mark price of all the pairs through the clients, but when the Overwatch engine is there, that needs to be like super on the ball. So this thing monitors the mark price of each of the assets, and it compares the mark price against each of the assets to the entry price of the particular trade, and then calculates where it should be. So, you know, if you're 5% up, then, you know, if it's going 1% above, you know, you're in 1% profit on Bitcoin, then it triggers a stop loss and it'll sit there, and that is an in-memory process. Because literally I can start that up and it will look straight away and know where everything should be. That's the Overwatch engine. So the Overwatch engine will move the trailing stop loss, but will also back out of any trades, and it gives me an overall view, so I can see the progress within the trades as well, with some little when I'm safe and when I'm not safe, and an overall overview of the day. So the last thing to think about is, like I said, about the hive mind, which is what I'm working on after this has gone, and that will trade on 2 separate time frames and hand off between each other. I also have some AI that I've done in using TensorFlow, because I overlay some of the technical analysis stuff. Like TA and doesn't like stuff on charts, but I'm not talking about human trading here. I'm talking about an AI looking at things that can comprehend things far better than we can. And let's not forget that although TA does fail people in the majority, it is good in a way, because it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Everyone's going, oh, the Wyckoff method. Well, because people are watching a certain thing, then it becomes that the actions are going to go on from there. I mean, look at AXS this morning. It was probably going to break to the downside. It was a bull flag, as some people were showing. But because people are looking for that, people are going to go and long it. And yeah, they are. There's like 75% long, and I'm looking on my board now. That thing ripped up from 38 to 42 this morning, showing full time frame continuity to the outside. I am on a long on that now. The fact that because people are looking for patterns and looking for certain things and then acting upon them, at the end of the day we're humans, and there is, before the strat there is price action, but before price action there is emotion, and that emotion comes from, you know, it's a decision of someone to buy or someone to sell, and that's based on many different things. And some of the things, because everyone looks at the Twitter twats out there that are doing all this TA and stuff, and I get it, I do get it, but some of them can be, there's some really good ones out there, but there's some that are just so stuck in the ways about certain things. I watch one or two. Jaren's really good, but people will make a decision based on that technical analysis as to whether to buy or whether to sell. And because they do, that technical analysis does govern the price slightly, but it is emotion, it is price action. The strat does work. I'm not saying it doesn't, obviously, because the entire thing's based on it. But if you overlay certain things within there, you can see confluence between what the strat's telling you, and you can strengthen the signals. And I know a few other stratters who I can't remember the name of, who use technical indicators along with the strat to strengthen their signals. So yeah, it has a time and a place. So that's it. I know I'm really sorry about the length of the video. I just wanted to get everything out there to help you understand how I've done it, why it's modular, why it's running on a database and not on in RAM. I do, like I said, I do have AI because I'm using TensorFlow. I'm creating that hive mind. I've got a very kind friend of mine has a mining rig who is going to lend us that. It will run off there, so it'll run relatively fast, I would think. But at the moment, this is not. I have got a predictive one. It will predict the next day's open quite well. But this is developed going forward. So yeah, it was just to explain what's running, why it's there, what signals I'm seeing. And yes, I do post charts up now and again. If you guys are wanting to output things, you know, fair enough, use Panda and NumPy because at least the arrays are going to be fast. But even without them, and I'm just using lists and dicts, that sounds like dicks. I'm not using dicks. Completely fucking lost it now. Yeah, sorry. So I'm using lists and dicts. And you can push those to the likes of Plotly, or you can push those to the which will do one of the graphs, or you can push it out to Matplotlib. So Matplot is the candles, if I'm right, and Plotly is the graph that shows how the trade went. And like I say, I need to. The other thing is, it's great doing all this, but you do need to output it. Or I need to output it. For me, I need to see what the difference of my changes to the algorithm make to the trade itself going forward. Yeah, I think that's it. I can't be more open and honest with how it's running at the moment. So I've got a lot of changes to do. Actually, the trading engine is offline at the moment because I'm making some changes to it. Not that it really matters because the entire market looks a bit poo, apart from TRX and AXS. If anyone's in them, I am spanking the titties off them. And that's it. So any questions, give us a shout. Otherwise, live feed is always on here somewhere. You can click on it. If it's ever down, ping me a message on Twitter and I will check. And that's it. Peace out. Catch you later.